Well, I'm pleased to be joined now by one of the legendary spy masters of our time, a man who was in Chile when Allende fell, who ran Charlie Wilson's war in Afghanistan, and who caught Pablo Escobar in Colombia. Jack Devine joins us. Jack Devine, the author of the new book, Good Hunting. And Jack, we welcome you now to America's Forum.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
Now, Jack, even in your book, you talk about the fact that the CIA is caricatured and criticized and maligned, but to the latest charge, Jack, that the CIA's intelligence network withered. What do you make of that claim about Iraq?
Yeah, I take it with a grain of salt. I've noticed that a number of the, which is quite unusual, by the way, a number of the senior people in the intelligence world are disputing that. First of all, I mean, there's certainly technical coverage. On the ground, I think there was not the surprise that ISIS was growing in strength. The fact that they were able to move so quickly and that the Iraqis, the military, collapsed quickly is, I think, the surprise. And that's hard to calibrate until you actually, a shot's fired. I can't say I'm totally surprised by it because I've been pessimistic about the long-term professionalism of the Iraqi forces, but even in that context, as the quickness of the rout is disturbing.
Now, Jack, it's tough enough to have assets on the ground in these foreign nations in hostile territory. But in Washington, D.C., there's a turf battle as well. In your book, you write the CIA is now trapped within a larger bureaucracy. Can you elaborate on that and what that portends for the future of the Central Intelligence Agency?
Yeah, I think there was a couple big mistakes that I think were made right after 9/11. And one was, how do we fix it? And Washington came up with the idea, well, has anyone ever thought of putting another big bureaucracy already on top of what we have? And that was the big solution. The founding fathers of CIA, I think, got it really right after World War II. Central means a lot in Central Intelligence Agency. And they should have concentrated. They wanted to make reforms, they should have concentrated there. But to build a new edifice and staff it with people and then have it preside as a reviewer of material that's already been reviewed seemed to me to be a terrible waste of taxpayers' money and a delusion of our resources. The other thing, which in fairness to people, when you fight wars for as long as we have, wars are all-consuming, and you end up investing very heavily in military. And that's not a criticism, it's a reality. So to a large degree, we have put in the intelligence world, as understandable as it may be, emphasis on military and in two pretty much isolated areas of the world. We'll be resetting that, I think, by necessity.
Jack, you mentioned what happened in the wake of 9/11 and the creation of an extra layer of bureaucracy and a national coordinator of intelligence. But I'm interested in terms of what President Obama or the Obama administration has done. Do you believe the president or his administration has changed the CIA? Has this administration made it more difficult for the CIA to do its job?
I think again, it predates it, but I think the imposition of another agency and keeping it as is a real problem. My second issue is there seems to be a tendency to look for a military intelligence solution to a problem. For example, the drones. The White House says that it wanted to move the drone program to the military. Now, that's running into a fair amount of opposition. I happen to think that it's all well and good for the military to run it in a war zone, which they're not. It's sort of split with the CIA. But where you don't have our boots on the ground in a war situation, then I think it should belong to the CIA. So I think there's a tendency to keep moving in the direction of the military instead of putting the emphasis on civilian activities. Drones are under the radar, and CIA is the one that set up originally to handle the under-radar stuff.
Well, in the book and in the notes we read, you have a role in the creation or the usage of drones. Now, a great deal of controversy has surrounded their use. Make the case. We have a couple of minutes left, Jack. Make the case for drones.
You remember after 9/11, asymmetrical warfare, we all talked about it. How could this powerful military, the best in the world, confront a ragtag group of terrorists with individual acts of terrorism? The drones did it. In other words, they're sitting in their huts around the world as more petrified than we are, wondering whether they're going to be around. We wiped out 2/3 of them. The drones, I saw a report the other day saying you shouldn't publicize the greatness of them. Well, I'm telling you, from where I sit, after 9/11, it's one of the great contributors to leveling the playing ground, and we should be very careful about backing away from using it. They should be under control, no question, but that this is a game-changing vehicle, no one should have any doubts about it.
Jack, about a minute remains. Before we say goodbye to you, the title of your book, Good Hunting. Why did you use that phrase, sir?
It is an expression that's used among operators around the world and has been for over a century. And I think it gets right at the heart of the business. Go hunt for bin Laden. Go hunt for Escobar. Hunt for Rick Ames to penetrate. Go get that information. Hunt for those terrorists. Hunt for information now in Iraq. Go get sources inside of ISIS that can get us in front of the game. That's what the core mission of CIA is in its intelligence side. Good hunting.
Jack Devine, we await a chance to visit with you again sometime to talk about the use of intelligence and good hunting when it comes to our nation's goals. Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much.
Well, you just heard from one of our Spymasters. Jack Devine says, hey, drones are important. What's your take on the use of drones? Love to hear from you. You can tweet us your remarks at Newsmax TV, hashtag America's Forum. There's also email and Facebook, and you'll see our faces again following this time out.